Are you fascinated by the paranormal and want to hear about encounters that have happened to real-life people in real-life places? Do you need a drink to calm those nerves after hearing some scary stories?
You're listening to Booze and Bourbon.
Well, we invite you to grab a drink, whether it's a coffee or something with a little bit more spirit in it. Grab a blanket, snuggle in, because I'm Kim and that's Jen, and we're Booze and Bourbon.
Welcome back, everybody. It's another fun episode of Booze and Bourbon. I'm Jen, and this is Kim.
Hello, Jen. How are you?
Just dandy. How are you?
Doing great. I do have to say this, though. The weather's been really nice during the day, but in the evenings, it's been getting rather cool. And, I mean, it's good for sleeping, but it also makes me sad because I know summer's starting to come to an end.
Yeah.
The long days aren't going to be here forever either. And I also know that the positive of all of this is spooky season is just around the corner.
Yes, I made that joke the other day about like, oh, I feel a chill in the air. It's time to decorate. Like, just bust out the old Halloween decorations and fall decorations now that it's, a little chilly out there. But it is still very nice during the day. So let's not jump there yet.
Yes, let's not. But I was going to say maybe sometime this week or next week, we need to go to one of the Halloween costume stores and see if they have Ghostbusters costumes.
Oh my God, yes. And I know that they do because my friend, as I said, wore one and her boyfriend wore the actual big puffy ghost costume that I remember from the movie. I don't even remember what his name was, but like the very big fluffy ghost that they had in that movie.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. You know what we should do? We should take applications and resumes for people who want to be our Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man.
Yeah. I mean, why not really? I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would love to do that.
I think so.
You also have to serve us bourbon and you also have to serve us snacks. But aside from that, it's just wearing a costume. So
the pay is not great, but sometimes you don't pay for good times.
That's very true. Yeah, very true.
Oh my God. Well, we've got a great episode here for you guys today. It's all about the ghosts of the Fortress of Louisbourg, which is here in Nova Scotia. Jen and I were recently there for a little visit, and even in broad daylight, it was creepy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There was a lot of bloodshed there, and
yes. Good choice of words, by the way.
We'll say bloodshed, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, there's bound to be some spooky feelings, some, uncomfortable feelings in there.
There definitely was. It was a strange and eerie feeling. Like, as soon as we actually got to the property, I was like, ooh, I don't like this vibe. But we're going to get into that a little bit later.
Yes.
First, we've got some bourbon.
Oh, that we do. A little Double Oaked Woodford Reserve. The old Double Oaked Woodford Reserve. Well, basically like the Woodford Reserve, only tastier. I mean, toastier. No, I mean tastier.
Okay, I'm going to do a cork pop on this gem. It comes in at 45.2% alcohol. It is a Kentucky straight bourbon, and it's finished in a second oak barrel. The master distiller on this one is Chris Morris, and the Woodford Double Oaked is produced by rebarreling Woodford Reserve's Distiller Select in a second virgin charred oak barrel for under a year. And the second barrel used is deeply toasted before being lightly charred. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
It's a little squeaky.
Squeaky, but had like a little good bass to it. So that was a good one.
Oh, thank you. So I'm just going to pour a little bit out here and see what I smell. It's very sweet and there's a little bit of oakiness in there. Definitely a lot of sweet vanilla. And since you said toasty, I'm getting some toasted marshmallows. Not the overly charred ones, just slightly toasted.
Uh-huh.
Definitely oaky. I find the color of this is a lot darker than the regular Woodford. And definitely getting some sweet vanilla. There's
like a caramel.
A lot of, yeah.
And leather-bound books.
Oh, absolutely.
Perhaps some dried fruits as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe like, I don't want to say raisins, but maybe like some apricot or something in there.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I wouldn't like to say
Very
raisins
nice.
even. Raisins just aren't really a fun
Did
time.
you say raisins even?
I don't know what I said actually, but I just wanted to say like raisins are not a great selling feature. It's like, when you bite into a cookie and you think it's a chocolate chip, but it's a raisin and you're super disappointed. Yeah. We'll go with the apricot. Way better.
We'll stick with that. So what do you think about the finish? Because I was going to comment on it, but I'm like, no. Going to leave this bourbon pocket one up for Jen.
It's very nice. Yes. It's got a nice lukewarm bourbon pocket heat. So we'll call it the comfortable heat, not the like,
yes,
ooh, I can't breathe, but it's a comfortable heat in the pocket for sure.
I actually agree with you 100%, even though we're far away from one another right now.
You concur,
we're
yes.
still getting the same vibe. Still same vibe.
Great.
Okay, Jen. So now that we've got our bourbon all ready for the show today, it's about time for our favorite little game. Would you rather?
Yes.
Would you care to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Well, I don't mind going first.
Okay, let's bring it.
All right. So based on our topic of the day, would you rather be all alone for an evening in Louisbourg's Fortress? Or would you rather be all alone for an evening in, or I shouldn't say in, but yes, Citadel Hill, which is similar but smaller, but just as creepy?
Wow, that's a really hard one because, yes, like you said, just as creepy. I feel like at least with the Halifax Citadel, you're in the middle of the downtown area. So if you heard some noises, you might be able to say, oh, it's just like, somebody at the club, or we're hearing like the bass, or we're like, you could even blame it on a homeless guy. I mean, you could blame it on a lot of things.
It's the drunken people that are stumbling around Citadel Hill that I hear, not the spirits that live and reside here.
Yeah. So I feel like you would be able to kind of try to science out the paranormal in that case. So I'd feel more comfortable with that. Whereas when you're in Louisbourg, there is so much fog and it is really in the middle of nowhere. It takes you a long time to drive out to that location. Like you can't really say, oh, it's just a homeless person, or, oh, it's just, another sound because you're in the downtown area of something. You're not. You're out in the, like, on a point in the middle of the ocean. So, yeah.
True. It's a little scarier when like if you want to escape, you have a very long walk ahead of you from the Louisbourg Fortress. You have to go quite a distance to get to any human life form, really. So,
yes, exactly, okay. Exactly. So I'm gonna stay with the Halifax Citadel.
Okay, good.
Would you rather be a sometimes summoned ghost buried under the chapel at Louisbourg, or would you rather be the always summoned booty call of the governors at the time in Louisbourg? I mean, everybody needs a hug every now and then. And, Louisbourg can be cold in the winter and damp. So
wait, am I still dead though? Am I like...
You're a ghost either way and you're summoned either way. But you're either... an occasionally summoned ghost that is buried
in the chapel, yes,
underneath the chapel, or an always summoned booty call of one of the governors that used to be the governor of Louisbourg.
Oh, okay. I get it.
And I said booty call, but like, let's be honest, you were probably a paid lady of the night.
Ooh, yes. Okay. I see. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm sure I would have done well for myself. But I can't say that I would be...
Just hold on. I bet since it was a French colony that they had those little French horns and maybe you had your own summoning. They'd be like, do, 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 do. And you'd be like, coming.
As I prance out in my super awesome outfit that's like 5 layers. Yeah, like, I mean, it would be exciting and keep, keep me entertained and busy, but I can't say that I'd be really attracted to what some of those governors looked like. I mean, it would be a hard task. So, I mean, I'm sure the money's good, but...
Powdered wig?
Yeah, like, it's not really my cup of tea, but at least in the chapel, I mean, I have, like, solitude and silence when I want it, and just, occasionally get called out. So, I think I'm probably going to
Rest in peace?
Go with the chapel and make, like, a really great performance when I'm summoned, rather than, being summoned possibly like all the time, which is like, very flattering and all, but just very exhausting and not really what I want to do.
That was really fun. Thank you for participating in that.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, so guys, just after this break, we're going to get into the main story of the Ghosts of Louisbourg. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Over 2 centuries ago, there was the most important town in all of North America. It was in New France. It was more important than New York City, Boston, or Quebec City. It was the most populated place in all of Canada at the time. King Louis XV at the time spent so much of the taxpayers' money on this town that he expected to look out of his bedroom window in France to see the faraway fortress walls and spires in the horizon. New France? Where the hell is New France, you ask? Well, it was France's idea of taking over North America. It encompassed much of the eastern part of Canada and, of course, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, in a little place called the Fortress of Louisbourg. So if you're a fan of the Curse of Oak Island TV show, you've probably heard of this place before. It's on season 7, episode 12, and the episode is called Fortification. And if you know anything about Nova Scotian, French, or British history, you may have heard about this place as well. So Jen and I recently had the opportunity to go to Louisbourg. We were filming and we were not too far away from the Fortress of Louisbourg. So we had both been there as children, but that was a long time ago. So we needed to go check it out. And of course, I love the Curse of Oak Island. So when I saw that the Fortress was on one of the shows, I was like, I need to go back. I need to lay eyes on this. I need to see this place. So thankfully, Jen was like, yes, I will come along with you, of course. And when we were driving out there, it was a beautiful day. So the sun was shining. There was a pretty good breeze. And when you're driving along this really boring road, you finally see this opening of a bay, and then you see all of the roofs of all the different buildings in Louisbourg. And I started geeking out. I was like, oh my God, Jen, I want to pull over. I want to take a picture here. I want to do this. So I'm sorry, Jen, but it was really fun.
She did have a couple moments there, everyone, but she held it together quite well.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, it's quite beautiful when you're driving up to it. Like we both hadn't been there in a very long time. So it was nice to see it and have a new appreciation for it, I guess, than when we would have probably the first time we went.
Yeah, I would have had no idea what anybody was talking about. I would have been like, look at the sheep. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. What are these for? Anyway. Why are these candlesticks so fancy? Like, where'd you guys get your food? Like, just...
Bread? You have bread? Cool.
Yeah.
So the French actually began building the fortress in and around 1717. Some say it's around 1720-ish, and kept building it for 25 years. They renamed it for the reigning French king, Louisbourg. So it took shape as the only walled city in all of North America. It was 2.5 miles of walls, 30 feet high and 12 feet thick, surrounded the town. An 80-foot moat sprawled in front of it. And 148 cannons sprawled the land as well. And there was also this really cool little island that had a whole bunch of cannons on it back in the day as well. So, but inside of these walls, it was complete in every way, with a large hospital, theater, churches, gardens, taverns, stone citadel, and that's where the Louisbourg governors lived in splendor. But those governors also died there too. They died from the battles. They died from disease. For God's sake, the land that Louisbourg sits on is so shed with blood that it would surely have been saturated within the first foot of the entire land, kind of like a big sponge. And just to give you some perspective on that, Louisbourg was raided twice, and in a second raid of Louisbourg by the British in 1758, it was known that the British had 26,000 troops and the French had 7,000. So knowing those numbers by themselves, you know there was a lot of bloodshed. And in fact, in the second siege alone, roughly 274 people died. And the disease that plagued the population, the natural death, the death from the first raid, and likely many ships were lost around the fortification as well. So likely people died in the construction of Louisbourg. It's safe to say that the number is close to maybe, if not around 1,000 people have died around Louisbourg.
Yummy.
Yes.
So on that note, at this point, I'd like to mention that there's a mass grave there too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. In the not so distant past, within the last 5 years, after a large storm, many bones were discovered being washed up on the shore. The land in which the mass grave is located is a small point of land surrounded by 3 sides by the battering ocean. The bones had to be reburied. Excuse me, sir, I lost my femur. Have you seen it? Could you replace it? Could you grab my elbow at the same time? Thanks.
Oh, gross.
Also, underneath the military chapel floorboards, there are 5 bodies buried. 4 are known of. 2 were captains and 2 were governors. One of which is Duke d'Anville of the Rochefoucauld family, hence the connection with the Knights Templar and perhaps Oak Island. And the other, 5th body, is that of a very small baby. The body of this child was laid to rest under the baptismal font, suggesting that maybe the child was born out of wedlock, but had noble blood, or perhaps the child was too young to be baptized before its death. Either way, it's very sad, and creepy to think that the new chapel was built over top of them. This leads us to the hauntings of Louisbourg, so why don't you buckle up? This is a good one.
Exactly. Thank you, Jen.
Oh, no problem.
Now I present to you the first installation of The Ghosts of Louisbourg. This is from thetelegram.com. The reconstructed 18th century French fortress is without a doubt the marquee spot in Cape Breton for finding ghosts, according to Doug Montbriquet. Doug and Jason Murphy are co-founders and lead investigators of Haunts from the Cape, and they describe the haunted location in this article. Louisbourg would be number 1 in terms of haunted places in Nova Scotia. There's so much history there. There were so many battles. There was so much death, he said. The grounds are soaked in blood. So if there's going to be any type of paranormal activity, whether it's residual or intelligent, it's going to be at the Fortress of Louisbourg. Not surprisingly, Montbriquet has had many encounters with ghosts at the fortress over the years. The Haunts from the Cape YouTube channel alone features more than 30 videos filmed there. He recalled one time when they set up a tape recorder in the bakery and recorded footsteps walking up the stairs. You can hear these heavy boot steps walking up and down a set of stairs that goes to the upper level of the bakery. We had the recorder right there, and you can hear plain as day someone walking up the stairs. You can hear it start loud, and then it goes off as they get to the top of the stairs, and you can hear them going across the floor. There was nobody there. We were the only ones out there. The place was locked up, and we put the recorder in, so I don't know who would have made the footsteps. Montbriquet said they also recorded a woman's voice in the jail and a woman singing in the chapel at 3 a.m. We've had all kinds of really good EVPs, he said. I haven't seen anything. I was touched on the shoulder in the Duhaget house. It's probably my best encounter, but there's been so many, not only just by us. There's been so many documented cases of paranormal activity out there.
Blood-soaked ground always makes for a good paranormal time.
I guess.
So, this is a review from TripAdvisor.com. Sunday, July 17th, 2016. We went to the fortress for a ghost tour. It was awesome. An employee of Louisbourg did the first part of the tour, and she did an amazing job. Stories about a baby doll that was haunted and mediums that went to the site. One said it was swaddled too tightly and it had been loosened and the spirit could leave. What?
Ew. That's kind of gross.
Yeah. The sight sent some chills down my back. Also hearing that 5 people are buried under the chapel was a great ghost tale story. Another story of a recreation. Costumed modern-day soldier character was going to his post at 6 a.m. and someone already being there, and he goes back to check the schedule, and he is scheduled. He goes to tell the guard he saw that there was a mix-up, obviously, and the guard disappears before his eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have just been like, hey, there's somebody already up there, so like apparently I don't have to work today, and just pretended, you know. But also the ghost stories about the bakery were great, and while we were in the old prison, we heard a shriek as if a woman was being tortured, and well, people were tortured and executed at Louisbourg. It was a great experience, and I also found out you can camp for the night or stay the night at Louisbourg, and I think that would be awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that would be really awesome.
It would be awesome. You'd have like, I think, free reign of the whole, I don't know how much space you would have, but like you probably get a lot of room, so...
I don't know how, you know, how they say that people are into the paranormal or certain people are sensitive to the paranormal and they get certain feelings and vibes and they're just more in tune. How could a normal human being that doesn't have those sensitivities actually spend the night out there and not feel haunted? I don't know.
Well, I think people probably have tested that and probably realized very quickly that maybe they were, you know, a little wrong with their beliefs as whether or not the paranormal were still active.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
Maybe. All right. So the third one here is from scottishvoice.org. It's called Ghosts at the Fortress of Louisbourg, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And this dates August 23rd, 2009. The Fortress of Louisbourg is said to be haunted by at least 4 ghosts. The most prominent one, a sea captain, is said to be helpful. He has stopped people from falling on stairs and has greeted people or passed them even during the day and then disappeared. Another ghost, a nurse, is said to be in the unconstructed part of the fortress. She walks the grounds by the old hospital, weeping as she walks. That's where we were. We went out there too. That's like the point area where the mass graves are.
Yeah.
Okay. A violent poltergeist is haunting the King's Bastion Bakery and has moved and damaged property there, as well as locking doors and moving big bread holders, which weigh approximately 300 pounds each. Damn. Finally, the ghost of a crying child has been seen crying for its mother, and the child ghost is accompanied by gun and cannon fire and screams of men in battle. That is awful.
That is really awful, actually. That's kind of sad.
Like, how come nobody's gone there and tried to, like, release that poor little kid ghost? That's awful.
They have a lot of work to do out there. They have a lot of spirits to release, apparently.
I mean, that was 11 years ago. Maybe something's changed, but...
So, while Kim, you know, had a little bathroom break, or not even a bathroom break, you had to go in and get us something.
Tickets.
Yes, tickets.
We had to pay.
Yeah, right. I had a conversation with a girl that worked there who probably was in her 20s, and she said both of her parents worked there as well, and they actually met there. That's how like they met and dated and got married. So that's kind of cute. But anyway,
that's pretty cute.
So she was telling me that she wasn't really into the whole, you know, believing in ghosts and spirits and that kind of thing. But she changed her mind very quickly when she started working there because she had heard from other people that there was, you know, various things that were always occurring and that they couldn't explain. So she was saying one night they had an event there and she was helping some of the other people set up or whatnot. And she was in one of the buildings that was actually kind of close to where we were, where we first came in. So where you and me were basically standing, more or less, like the next building over. She had gone in to get a few things and had heard somebody come in the front door and like walk towards her. So she started talking to them, assuming it was the other girl that was with her, that was helping her. And when they didn't reply back, she was like, you know, hello, or are you coming to help me? And then she heard a couple footsteps and then came around the corner and realized there was absolutely nobody there. So she was like,
whoa,
what did I just hear? Because that was very, like, very prominent sounding footsteps, like, and fast. So she said it sounded like it was somebody that was with her, but nonetheless, nobody was there. So then she said another girl that worked with her later in the evening, I think on a different night, they were just finishing up an event or probably doing one of the ghost tours, and they were coming up the hill kind of towards where we parked, I think, when we came in. And as she was coming up the hill, she stopped in her tracks because she saw this very bright green orb just kind of floating in front of her, like about 15 to 20 feet away. She stopped, looked at it, recognized that it wasn't something that should be there and that she couldn't explain for being there, and decided to just walk the other way. But apparently, because this stuff happens all the time, people are just very like desensitized to it. Like they'll see stuff or they'll hear stuff and they just like acknowledge and are totally okay with the fact that it's probably paranormal, and they just go about their day and continue along. Which is kind of cool because you have all these people that probably didn't or probably don't or didn't really believe in any of this and then work there, and they're like more or less forced to because things happen around them that I know that they can't explain themselves. So they're just like, well, yeah, I guess, they're just here.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I was going to say too, when you see the people all dressed up in costume and you see them like on the front steps of certain buildings and you see the ocean in the background and you see like the entrances and the big walls and everything surrounding the ocean, it almost like it very much feels like you're still in that like present day of 1700s. But then you're like, no, this is, we're in 2020 right now. But that dude definitely looks like he could have been a ghost, but he isn't. So imagine being that person that was like, no, that was definitely somebody like dressed up. And then you're like, no, they just disappeared. What the hell? And then also seeing like the blue uniforms with like the gold buttons and everything. I know I've seen it, and my mom, I know I've seen it in real life before, whether it's been on the internet or read about it or whatever, but I had a dream about it, and that dream had to do with Oak Island. And then when I saw the uniform in real life, I was kind of like, that's also terrifying that in my dream it looked exactly like what I'm seeing right now.
Dang.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Kim,
cool.
In her dreams, she has...
I know.
She has a lot of dreams.
Which, the more you follow us and the more you get to watch us on upcoming TV shows, the more you'll get to see about Kim and her weird dreams.
Yep. And Jen's complete problem with arachnophobia. That's also what you will see.
Oh, man. It's a thing. I mean, we're going into some dark and dingy places, so I guess we can expect it. I'm not terrified by that stuff, but you definitely are.
I can't do spiders, no. Can't do it. You can put me in a dingy basement with a bunch of poltergeists, and I'd probably be okay to stay down there, but as soon as I see one spider or spider web, it's just not going to happen.
Done. Crazy. Love it. Okay, so guys, that pretty much wraps up today's episode. Hope you enjoyed that one. We hope that we gave you I don't want to say a musical tour. I don't know why that's like on my brain, but a visual, that's the word I was looking for, of Louisbourg. Definitely go check it out on the internet. And if you are within the Atlantic bubble and you want to go check it out, you definitely should. Also, if you want to check out more of Booze and Bourbon, you can find us on Instagram at Booze and Bourbon. BOOSAND Bourbon. And also, if you want to email us, you can email us at our Gmail account, and it's boozeandbourbon@gmail.com. And we're also on Facebook. If you go to our Instagram page and you click on our link, you will find many links to many things, including our YouTube channel and our Redbubble store and our homepage. So feel free to go check that out.
And I mean, any app or any provider that plays podcasts, you can listen to us on there and be completely entertained for the rest of your life. And
true.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on episode 87, so there's 87 episodes for you to be entertained by. It's a lot.
That is a lot. That would last you guys a good amount of time. It's a good amount of time for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully you're not sick of us yet. And if you are, we are gravely sorry.
Gravely.
Do you like great?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll be back for a brand new episode next Friday. Until then, stay spooky. I hope you drink some bourbon. Check out Woodford Reserve Double Oaked and be good.
And wear your mask.
Oh, yes. Do that too. Now we just like automatically lost 1,000 followers. Okay. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Booze and Bourbon is part of the ABV network. For more information or to advertise on the show, please head over to abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.